And everything she said to them they should do, they were already doing it for a very long time. She's she walked her literally and I'm doing so it's so into I'm in what she's right now. Fully in thank you, Dr. Wiser. You have walked through this one. Good morning to months. Yes, how do you how it's well, so follow with a line of reason, but nice, this sort of thing. Both is we get caught up with the name and not focus on the qualities and the why is there needs. And it really should do lessons empower us. What we have to do as relevant is across from Swiss countries in senior we have constantly investigated between having highly skilled citizens. They have to get higher GDP per capita. So that is really what governments are pursuing. That is what is motivating. And so part of that galvanized around STEM fields because of the technology, proliferation of technology, and impact it's having to transform economies. And so for small islands, we have to figure out the shortest path to get there. And so we are catching up with these temas, but the reality is, as you're articulating, when you want stream, STEM, STEAM, I said, just focus more on the why and focus more on cultivating these kids and the students and the people in our society. The skills set. The reality is that education is best characterized as a positive externality. It's benefits from education, but failure at sea, we achieve through collaboration in public college. The funding is a fundamental part of public morale. These outstanding meetings have been on the top of the district, have been about with teachers. Everyone kind of gets that. So I can say that's one. The problem is resources. And if you understand that education serves as a positive turnout, then what we want is to ensure that the third party, this is so friends, yeah, this is from this in the cost. That is possible education. We have to be able to start with what we see by unknown scale in child population and think education. And that's where it's critical. What you're saying really resonates with me because when we look at those uh, when those jobs that get one was up, we need to realize how we need a certain that is a they decided to reduce 6 schools. That's next thing I can't even call it again. So 6 schools. Yet when you look across 1,000 plus schools in Jamaica, you look at 174 high schools, a small percentage of these the vast majority are regular current says acceptable. This record is 10%. Don't get through and spend billions of dollars in this spend that the foreign supply that in statistics was small percentage. This went back to far more than over time in the one says if you want to have that this was only enough every single place from that. So every student has the ability to adopt. I don't want to reports. And one of the recolonize is whole itself to the election because we continue to look what is happening in some of those other countries and expect these same things to happen in the same way. And yeah, the big struggle between what is post-colonial and what is in the past. There's a disconnect on many of our constituents as it relates to what are the real needs
of our society as what is being projected by the policy makers. And a very interesting observation. I listened to a number of intentions. I don't have anything against Taiwan. Taiwan has been given a lot of scholarships and empowering our people. But I listen to a lot of intentions overseas when they have that Taiwan organization. And they would speak about what they're pursuing. But more than 60%, when the question is asked, what are you doing next? They're not coming back. They're staying. So whereas the scholarships are there, if they're not coming back to serve, what's wrong? What is happening is a structured way of bridging the experience. And I quite appreciate the points made by Dr. Green. Right. And we have to pay close attention. Many teachers today who have children, if you have to ask them, how many of your children you really encourage and say, come into teaching? Same thing with the agricultural workers. When you see how people dress and does that experience that teaching today, it's something that we have to look at. I'm not going to say it's good or bad, because the salary is going to be paid, you are looking at that. The conditions and conditions work. I'm just going to just give one example. When we were going back to school, and the teachers realized that school was not properly prepared, disinfected, and all the necessary things that the relevant authorities must do, provide that working environment and safe and healthy. And they decided to stay stand. People call in the ministry and say they will report it to the cabinet. And there's an element of fear in our society since 220 July. It's a mama task for the union. And when these things emerge, you know their hormones. We challenge the status. And we say to the teachers, stay off the job. If the working conditions are conducive, and we put law enforcement, the student, and then we say teacher. If no teacher will come with law. Because what affects the teacher, what affects teaching, affects law. So Google was listening to you when you were speaking, but we are going to protect what you speak, because we are part of the administrative apparatus. But don't be afraid to speak the truth. Call us speed as speed. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. All right. So I'm going to this. All right. So I'm Aniola Jones. I'm the principal of a technical high school. About 1,400 kids and 130 teachers. Now, one of the key things that we have found works quite well for us is within the context of the school, encouraging teachers to actually do the TVET subjects, regardless of their age. So although I'm trained to teach science, all the sciences, we have campaign that we went on to get teachers to do the TVET subjects taught by their colleagues. So the teacher of home economics and housekeeping would run a class, and all teachers, would have an opportunity to do the subject. So now we end up with 12 teachers who are certified in housekeeping, whether or not you're dean of discipline, teaching English, visual arts, math, science, whatever it is, a guidance counselor. And we sat the exam with the students. And it made a fundamental difference. Because one of the things that we have to understand from TVET is that TVET is knowledge in action. Many of our kids will never be academics, they have zero interest. So TVET is knowledge in action. We underestimate the fact that you can grow up in the Caribbean and drive a trailer in Canada in snow and you can carry a season. Nobody's calculating the force that you need to step on the brake and, the viscosity and the skid capacity and all of these things to drive a real good truck and earn decent money. So we need to destigmatize TVET. As a result of that, we now have 42 teachers who are certified to teach across the TVET areas. I'm certified in bartending and plumbing. So when as a principal, you're able to go over to the plumbing class and you're able to talk to the kids about plumbing and you're dressed in your overall and you have on your water boots and you just change over stockings and beads and you're over there with them, it makes a fundamental difference. And so a large part of my suggestion today is own the space that you're in. And one of the things I was told by more experienced educators when I just became a principal is run your school. You run your school, manage the areas that you can manage and exceed the influence that you can exude in your practice. We're going to have to start asking for permission to these things. If you are in a space where that is a stigma, really start to tackle what are my own prejudices. What is it that I can do? Because at the end of the day, anything with two heads is a monster. So we have to head our institutions, head our spirits, we have to work on points and change the culture. And public-private partnerships are also. We got the local hotel to hire teachers. And when the home economics and industrial arts teachers went into the hotel for the summer, we negotiated that immediately. When those teachers came back, they started throwing things out of the home economics lab. They started doing other things because they realized half of the way that they were teaching was not the way that the hotel was instructing them to clean the rooms. So what can we do? Stop asking for permission, go there and make some things happen. And the bottom line is, politicians' job are to get reelected. So we need to time the waves properly and surf the waves at the right time so that it will come true. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for your contribution. The one part of the session. You know, I go through and children talk to. We also like to apologize after the job. It's a joy and a little bit after the sentence for the abuse. Colleagues, I invite to stand at this time. Please. Let's match this right second. And to support, add to the say, moving the benchmark, changing perspectives. That's by working the show. Right, you take a structure, and take a stretch and take a thank you very much. So first you're moving the benchmark, changing the narrative. Thank you. So just to take the research particularly from what we and align it to our purposes as curriculum educators and as trade unionists. There is no slide presentation because expectation is after the session you will be motivated to do some reading. Public needs to utilize two strands or perspectives for pedagogy as context. The first is transforming education. We will transform competition into decolonizing education. Then we learn some anonymous men speak to it, decolonize education. And you understand me exactly for us. Well, we spoke to it or looked at a while ago. Still maintaining the narrative that we accustomed to for all these years and doing things in the same way all the time. I don't think any of us expected, for example, to hear Dr. Dice say, you can do PD sessions in the way that we suggested. many of us would be willing to eventually give up and try that or recommend that? So the first perspective of transforming education started in 2022 when the United Nations held its Transforming Education Summit in New York, simply because it was recognized in the first COVID precipitated. It was recognized then that we do not have the right levels of equity, parity, and access that we believe we have. And that applies strongly to the Caribbean. Subsequent to that, in October of this year, CARICOM and other regional and global partners held a Transforming Education Policy Dialogue. And decolonizing education was a substantial theme on that. So I encourage you, since we are all on devices during the course of today, this opportunity for us. Because the outcomes of that policy dialogue are available online. The imperative for us out of that policy dialogue would be to change how we do things and start the suspension from the grassroots to align with regional and national development goals. And that is second perspective was strong. How many of us are familiar? The teacher asked persons to raise their hands. How many of us are familiar with the CARICOM Human Resource Development Strategy 2030? It's a strong word. Some people less important there. Aware. How many of us have read the 90 page document? Ninety is a big number to read. But it could be better to read it. It's trying to be a page of easy piece. Have little plans and that is relevant to us because it ties in with what Dr. Green has spoken about. Utilizing technical vocational education to drive our regional development and our regional economies. So we need to be familiar with that. Back in 2017, CARICOM Regional was established that we need to have this particular framework, this particular approach to build capacity in the regions. Governments are responsible for enacting legislation, developing standards, and monitoring and regulating ones. So my question to you, as educators who different young educators, not so young, seasoned educators, educators young, what has your government done to build capacity in your country through the TVET stream? What are the programs that have been delivered? So not to be severe about the partnership setting tools that will focus on the sectors. What's the national policy on TVET and national development? Let's find that out. Because that will then take us in the second dimension. As educators who are members of unions, where does the union stand in relation to TVET delivery and development? Does your union, as simple as it is, have the speak simply? Does your union, as simple as it is, have the TVET committee? Is there a TVET committee? We have teachers who are parts of our municipal unions. But perhaps we could consider starting there. Because if we are serious about STEM, stream, taking it forward, we are so influenced by the presentation. Our countries have the frameworks and the policies. We as unions who are responsible for the aspects of building learning communities. We we should be looking to move in that direction as well. To bring it in alignment with what the region wants and what the councils we are expected to have. So let's start there. Let's establish the committees. Bring expertise which we know we have, not only to produce policies, but to drive our positions as unions on technical matters. How many of us have representatives at the level of the Ministry of Education or whatever technical vocational board exists? Technical vocational training schools and institutions, list of principals, home to that. So we should not, colleagues, say, well, that's only for technical. Because we've agreed this morning, based on what we've heard, that these perspectives need to start from as early as the early. So it's not a secondary school thing or a technical thing. And therefore, as educators and as members of unions, we need to start exactly in our context then how we would bring STEM stream into our union's dialogue amongst our members and between the union, the Ministry of Education, and the union of the stakeholders. If we don't do that, colleagues, then sitting here with the presentations, what the Ministry of Education or governments are doing, we are left behind. The imperative of the curriculum HRE development strategy is that by 2030, you have regional citizens who are skilled, qualified, competent, etc., driven to build our region. Tech work education and TVET students are therefore going to be required within the context of CSME. You are familiar with movements across countries of CSME. Within the context of CSME, but there are barriers to that right now. What are some of our barriers to free movement of educators and students, skilled students through CSME? One, there are some territories that do not offer level 1 and level 2 of the CTP qualification. Some territories only offer level 1 at the school. And the student who is desirous of moving forward then has to look at accessing level 2 privately. Why don't our education sectors facilitate students with obtaining the entire qualification in one subject area to move forward? That's a question for unions to discuss with the Ministry of Education. It is easy enough to access a work permit on the CSME to move from one territory to the other. That was established through the treaty, revised Treaty of Shabarama some years ago. Good. However, having access to the work permit, especially as a skilled worker or a teacher in the area, territories as cooperative as they are, do not have the necessary conditions to say, I am going to have Antonia De Freitas as an educator teaching TVET, benefiting from the same remuneration package and strategies that my local teachers are benefiting from. So you're going there to do the same job, different conditions. Contract employment, which of course you know is very tenuous. But you might be one of these few skilled persons to be living in a particular area. So there's limited tenure. So we're talking curriculum HRE, specifically in terms of TVET. But how we move the skilled workers and how we move the educators is limited. As unions and as members of unions, we need to pinch the toes of our leaders to address this. We should not simply sit here and leave here and say, okay, all right, it was a good conference. And it's a quality that, where is it? Action. I believe in action after sitting down for so long. Right? Where will be our action and our advocacy? Finally, the curriculum HR 2020 strategy, as well as the transforming education policy dialogue, have common pillars for action within the agenda for action. One of which is the definition, by definition,